Oh, hey guys. So I'm gonna talk about another part of me. As most of you know, I have epilepsy. Um, Growing up, I was raised around seizures. Um, my biological mom has epilepsy. That's where I get mine from. Um, and she, um, started her seizures when she was like 13. I think that's what she told me. So she was going through puberty at the time when she started having them. She still has epilepsy. Unfortunately, over the years, they haven't been able to. Um, well, actually, a few years ago, they were able to get her seizures under control. Um, Thankfully. Um, when I was about 15, I was in school, um, and I was in high school. It was my freshman year. I'm trying to remember. I believe I was at lunch. Um, and about half hour before lunch, I left to go to lunch. I was, I don't know, I just felt something, but I wasn't sure what it was. Because I'd never experienced anything like that before. But I just kind of kept it to myself. And um, during lunch, I had my first seizure. And I've been asked, um, what does it feel like to have a seizure? Well, I guess it just depends on what kind of seizure you're talking about or asking me. Um, every seizure feels different. Um, Even with the generalized tonic-clonic seizures, or formerly known as grand mals. Um, I mean, they had the same generalized pain, but each one just feels a little bit different. I guess pain-wise, I don't really know how to explain it. Um, but to be honest, when people were telling me that seeing a seizure is scary, I tried to understand, but at the same time I don't, because I was raised around them. Um, I was used to it. I don't remember being scared. I remember my adrenaline going a little bit, because when that happens, if somebody knows what they're doing, they're like an automatic take care of that person right away. And, um, yeah, uh, my first seizure, the first few seizures, happened at school, and a lot of people thought I was faking them to look for attention, up until my family saw my first seizure. Well, saw the first seizure that they saw that I had. And that's when they all started believing that I wasn't faking my seizures, that they were real. Um, I've had a pretty rough road these past 7 years. No, it'd be 7 years in November. Um, yep. I can't remember the exact date, but it was November of 2013 that I had my first seizure. Yeah. And so many people, um, from the high schools that I went to going to different churches, um, there's been a lot of people that have acted like um, they were friends with me, or they just were there for me. I appreciate the thought that people were there for me, but the second that I get a hold of them, never answer, or if they do, it's a really short conversation. Um, I've almost died a few times. The last time that I almost died, I remember being in this white room. Like it was just nothing but white. And there was a really bright light up above me. And it was like this powerful but peaceful voice that said, "It's not your time yet. Go home." And I woke up. So when... Oh, I don't want to get into that. But anyway, yeah. I don't want to say it's a blessing that I have epilepsy. I want to say that I accept it. And I don't need people telling me, because this has happened in the past. I've quit going to churches over this, and I've quit talking to people because of this. People telling me that I need to pray harder, that I need to believe more, that God will take this away from me. Sometimes God says no, believe it or not. When I was diagnosed with degenerative disc disease, I was told, or I was asked, "Do you accept it?" I said yes, because it runs in the family. And then I'm being told, no, you can't accept it, you have to pray about it. Well, I have been. It may not seem like it, but one thing you gotta know about me is I'm not that much of a talkative person about my personal life. And if I am, I trust you. Which it's really hard for me to trust people. Yeah, very hard. Let's talk about relationships. I can't even count how many people that I've gotten close to, or we were getting to the point where there was a possibility of a relationship, and somebody whose seizures were not under control at the time, you're required to say something. And every time I did, every single one of them, both guy or girl, all the same, they either quit talking to me, or they've told me that they're not comfortable with being in a relationship, or they found another person that they like, or all these other excuses. I don't think people really understand how much... It's like a big hit to the gut with a frickin' sledgehammer. Yeah, it hurts bad when someone says that to you, like you can't control it. I don't understand people most of the time. I've only got about a handful of friends, some close family, and some of that close family has told me that they don't feel like dealing with me if I have a seizure. Somebody told me that I wasn't allowed to see my Nana while she was in the hospital if I had a seizure near her. Stuff like that makes me want to end it all. Because for the longest time, I felt like a burden. And now, I'm saying something about it. Where I moved to, when I moved in with my sister, I feel free. I don't have to feel like someone's breathing down my neck all the time. Or people just not really talking to me. Being 22 and I still had a tight leash. Even now that I moved out, people still don't want to let me go. I'm not going to play a song today because this is something that I've got to get out. I will say, though, that I've had a lot of support and help over these years. And I really appreciate it. I really do. You guys just don't understand how that makes me feel also, that there are people out there who actually care. But some of those same people have said those things that I've said before. It's really hard for me to get close to somebody. Partly because of the way that I grew up. Not very many people gave me a reason to trust them. Not very many. But yeah, I will say that let's see. I haven't had a seizure since December 26th of 2019. And I also have a lot of triggers for my seizures, and it took about 5 or 6 years for me to find those triggers. Because when someone first starts having seizures and they have epilepsy, it's a matter of medication or medical treatments that will help with epilepsy. Each person is different. I've known people to have brain surgery. They don't have seizures anymore. I went to Sparrow in Lansing into their epilepsy monitoring unit 5 times. And being told, because I was getting a bunch of testing done to see if I was a candidate for brain surgery. I know, big decision. But unfortunately, after all the testing was done, I was told that I'm not a candidate because my seizures take place in the gray matter of my brain, which is towards the center. And you can't really remove any of that gray matter because it's in critical areas of your brain. that you need. But yeah, I'm 22 years old now, and my seizures are pretty much under control now. And I intend to keep it that way. But yeah, that's just something else I wanted to talk to you guys about. This is another part of my testimony, I guess you could call it. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoy this video. Hopefully it helps somebody to relate. Or just that people could understand another part of my life story and the way that I am. So, yeah. Alright, thank you for watching. Alright, bye.